No one in this world can you trust. Not men, not women, not beasts. This you can trust.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, SwampSwimmer, and with me, as always, the Rock to my John Cena, Vespasian.
Hey everybody, I just watched Black Adam on the plane, so it's very fresh. It's very fresh.
Very
How
fresh.
did you know?
So a couple episodes ago, we did the classic game of what would that character be in the world of the Ninth Age. We had a couple comments that I thought was really entertaining, so I thought I'd do it again quickly. And I thought of our next character we need to discuss, who this person is in the Ninth Age, and that is, who would Hannibal Lecter be from Silence of the Lambs in the world of the Ninth Age? And I have two thoughts right off the bat. One that I think is the easiest is like a Empire Sonstal character, human character that is tempted by the god of greed. Is it greed or where you eat, where they eat gluttony? That's the one I'm trying to think of. Gluttony. It was tempted by gluttony and is, acts like a human normally, but is consuming bodies. But I think the better idea is an Ogre Khan's character who works for the Ninth Age, or works for the Empire Sonstal as like a mercenary, mercvet kind of strategist guy, but he's consuming the bodies in secret because he's a cannibal and ogres are cannibals. I think the ogre idea is better, but what do you think?
Well, but do ogres eat ogres?
I don't know if that's...
Then they're not technically cannibals, right?
Yeah, I think they do. I think they do because they eat like anything. They eat their enemies, which they fight ogres. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever watch the I can't remember what channel it was on, but the Hannibal that was with Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. I never watched it, but I know it always got great reviews. Like people loved it.
It was so good. I mean, phenomenal. And the thing that always stuck with me about that character was that, as creepy as he was the hidden in plain sight kind of guy, And I like the warriors or the dark gods play on that, because I feel like you could, very much have like an esteemed, psychiatrist at one of the colleges and, in the Empire. But then secretly he's got some sort of altar to gluttony down in his basement and his
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, yeah, I like that one.
that one could work too. Fair enough. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear if you can think of a better idea than either one of those two. But let's jump into this battle report. We are on to round 3. Yeah, 3. I am sitting on 28. I think I got a 14 and a 14, or a 13 and a 14, maybe 27. And I get paired into good old Derek. Derek, who's playing VC today. He's been jumping around between armies lately. Derek, who's a very good player, refuse flank and capture the flag. Also note that this is the special scenario where you get an extra model that's different. That's like, there are a bunch of different models from around the Ninth Age world, and they have all the regular rules, but also like a couple downside rules. Yeah. So and it's a draft thing. So the lowest player gets the first one to pick the best model. Derek and I are both pretty high at this point. Derek got the Gorgons from the Dread Elves. I forgot their downside though. It's 2 Gorgons. And then I got
it's probably like they lose the gaze or something. It's like for those who there's a it's very much like you take the best thing of the model away from them. Like there's like one dragon that can't fly because he's asthmatic, and there's there's the steam tank that is like res 2 or something like that. Like they hit it where the model is. So probably it took away the gaze is my guess.
I think that might have been it. And then I got the Vermin Swarm Cannon, that it's a regular cannon, but you always have to do it on the Trial and Terror, and it misfires on a 1 and a 2.
Yeah. There you go.
So it's a very high chance of misfiring. If
Yeah,
you
Derek was just off of a GT win prior to this at March to War, so this was going to be a tough matchup. Yeah.
If you're interested in my list, please click the link right above my head. It'll take you to the first round video where we go over my list in a little more detail. But let's look at what he's got. So he's got a Vampire Count General, an Occultism, Kingslayer Halberd, Hypnotic Pendant, Crown of Autocracy, Strigoi, Monster Hunter, a Necromancer Master on Alchemy, a Courtier on the Steed with the big thing to notice here, he has the True Thirst. This is the vampire that's going to go into the Barrow Knights, the 14 Barrow Knights. He's a Von Karstein with Mysteries of the Night. 40 ghouls, 4 bats times 2, zombies, dire wolves, a big block of Barrow Guard, and a big Barrow Knight unit, and 9 wraiths.
Yeah.
So I was looking at this list. I was actually thinking a little. I think this is not a good matchup for me. Maybe just a yellow.
Okay.
I mean, I think the wraiths are a big problem for me because I don't have a whole lot of magic missiles, and also I don't have any magic items. So I wasn't feeling confident, and then trying to plow through that many Barrow Guard, and especially that many Barrow Knights, even with like if I could get the Titanopod into that Barrow Guard unit, I don't think it's gonna win still. So I didn't think I had a whole lot of answers here. So I decided going into this match to play it kind of safe and try to clear the small pieces, and then manage the big pieces. That was my thought.
Yep. Yeah, I think your overall assessment is pretty accurate. You basically can't fight either of those blocks.
Yeah.
That does make it tough. I mean, it's flags, right? So like those are 2 of your ways to get a flag. And then some of his support pieces are really tough for you to get to, like the wraiths and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's probably the right assessment.
So we can see Derek here having a good time. Derek's always a good guy. I always have fun playing Derek, so big shout out to Derek. Let's talk about deployment. So my guys left to right, I've got my magnetic bow skinks with the character on the left. Right, this red circular base is the cannon, the vermin swarm cannon. Then my Thyroscutus herd, then a Taurosaur with the caimans behind it, one caiman stick behind it. Skink hunters with the Skaman block behind him, the Titanopod, the other Skaman block, the Skink hunters next to them, the other Elder Skink behind them, and the one of my Taurosaurs on the far right. I think he dropped to go first. I'm pretty sure. Not on this picture on the far left, the other side of this terrain piece here is where he puts his 2 Gorgons, the special models he got. But then he's got dogs, bats.
Oh, we should tell everybody they don't give up victory points, right? So they're free, basically.
Yeah. They don't contribute towards capture the flag, so that's good note to put in there. The big Barrow Knight unit with his character with True Thirst here. The big Barrow Guard unit with his other characters in here. The race. This is zombies, I think, and then on the far right is the ghouls with another unit of bats in front of them.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I just tried to. He deployed basically almost up to the line, and I deployed everything a little far back because I needed some rounds of shooting to try to take off of his supporting units. But he does go first. And there he is. He just basically pushes. He doesn't have any shooting. He puts his Barrow Knights behind the fence so they guard them a little bit. One interesting thing he did do was he didn't push up the ghouls on the far right here. And I think he didn't want to get them alone with the Taurosaur, which doesn't make sense. No, that could easily take. I don't know why he didn't push those guys. It's a good question.
Yeah.
So that goes to my turn. I don't think he did anything in the magic phase. No, he didn't. So in the charge phase, I do take the charge on the far right of the Taurosaur into his bats. He gave me the charge. Wait, no, I'm sorry, I did that the wrong way. He gave me a long charge here, and I was thinking if I made it in, I was gonna win that combat, and I would probably blow up the whole unit, which is nice in one turn, and that's what I need to do with these small chaff pieces because you can easily raise them up. And then I just throw out chaff in front of everything else in the center here, and prepare for shooting. So I'm gonna spoiler alert you a little bit right now. The Vermin Swarm cannon I got, the whole game, it never misfired, and it hit, I think, once the first turn, missed the second turn, and hit the third turn, and I had no better option, so I was shooting him just at his what am I trying to say? His Gorgons that he got, and they had, these two pieces had no interactions with anything else but each other, and I killed both of his Gorgons, and the cannon remained. So just
fantastic. I mean, it's kind of funny how some of those worked out. I think, spoiler alert for my battle, but there is an epic duel between me and my next round opponents. Extra pieces as well. So yeah, it looks like there was a battle royale for dominance in the hired guns segment.
And beyond that, I just throw some chaff out there and prepare for shooting. And I can't remember how well I did in the shooting phase. Yeah, so I take off the dogs with shooting. You can see one Gorgon's left here, but the bottom left. I shot one off the first turn. And I blow up his bats on the far right. He charges, as I thought, with the ghouls into the Taurosaur, and I flee with the Taurosaur.
Yeah.
So that
Makes sense.
worked exactly how I wanted it to. He actually doesn't charge any of my chaff pieces, which is interesting. I think he was fearing the counter charge of either my Titanopod or the Scaman unit into his race, because I think the Titanopod's just going to pump out enough of attacks, and then the Scaman block is going to kill him with static combat res, because I've got the Legion standards in there.
Yeah, I think not charging makes sense for them for sure. It looks like you did a little bit of work on him, right? Two
yeah, I think that was. I don't know what that was. I think that was just magic or something.
Well, he may have swept you there, but I mean, it looks like
yeah.
he's lost a couple of wraiths. Maybe you just shot at them with the skinks.
I think I did. Yeah, that was just from the skinks.
They go down decently well to like high volume shooting. But, yeah.
So I dropped both the dogs and one bat unit, so I'm feeling pretty good at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then in bottom of 2, which is my turn. Did I just? Yeah.
Yep.
So I realize I'm doing some good work on these wraiths over here. So I bring both of the poison shooters, both of the hunters, right up next to them to continue that. I rally the Taurosaur. I realize this Cayman stick really needed to get back towards the center because it wasn't going to take those ghouls by themselves. And there's this impassable piece of terrain right here, so I turn them around and start bringing them back. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good at this point.
Yep.
I'm basically going to focus fire all my shooting at this bat unit over on the left, and then all the poison shooting is going to go into the wraiths.
Yeah, makes sense.
In his turn, okay, so this is a big jump here. I don't kill off the bats. I do some good work to the wraiths. Let's see here. And he charges, okay. First he charges the bats at my bow unit. I push them as far back as I could. And I think the Barrow Knights into them were a 11 on dice, I think. 10 or 11 on dice, I can't remember. It was a really far charge. I take the risk. I'm like, hey, I think you're going to fail that charge. and I don't want to flee off the board. So I stand, and he makes it with the knights all the way there. I was like, oh, that's really bad. That's really, really bad.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. I
You
think
get the overrun into the Thyros, right?
exactly, yeah. And that's exactly what he did. And there's just enough room there to wheel into the Thyros without touching the cannon. It's just all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah. Okay.
I do some more work to the race here. I think there's these down to 4 or 5 guys, 4 or 5 race left. He charged one chaff piece, and I think killed it, and the other one he charged the first one, I ran with it, and the second one he charged and killed or something like that. I can't remember. But this is where we end up now. I'm worried on the left now, because this is exactly what happens. He kills, of course, these guys. I think this is the turn I killed the last Gorgon on the left. Overruns into the Thyroscutus herd. Very scary. End up turning to face with my Skaman unit and the Taurosaur to get ready for whatever's next over here. I'm going to have to just take a charge, which sucks. And then I take my other Skaman unit into the race. Notice he healed up 2 guys here.
Got it. Yep.
I wasn't.
So just open to pop them, basically.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping for. I wasn't super confident, but we'll see. Also, in his movement phase, he moves those the ghouls kind of into the center of the board, and I'm able to move the Taurosaur out of his charge arc. So we end up going back to the right again.
Got it. Okay.
And let's see here. Let's see what happens. And exactly what happens. He blows up the Taurosaurs. Super sad. That's a big point unit, and charges into my Skaman unit.
Mm-hmm.
To prevent an edge charge with the Titanopod into them, he ends up raising a unit of zombies here, which I was not happy about.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I mean, I knew I could stick here for a while, but I probably couldn't stick for the rest of the game. And the Barrow Guard unit was coming down my flank. On the top right, he takes those ghouls and pushes them back. So basically, we're at a stalemate on the right side of the board. Oh, and he charged.
Wonder what he was so afraid of over there.
Hold on 1 second. What happened here? So, in the combat, I'm pretty sure I killed the Wraiths. I killed the Wraiths, yeah.
Charged you.
And the Barrow Guard charged, and I fled. Ended up here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
That's what happened, yeah. And that's why he raised
He probably had like a 12 or something into the flank of your skink unit, and then just failed charge selection just to try it. So, yeah, okay. Makes sense.
I don't know. I don't know. I think if I was to get the Cayman Elder stick into the front and the Taurosaur into the flank, he might be in trouble. But that's a big block of ghouls. 8 times 5 is 40 of them.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it might take a while, but like with poison and perma hatred, it feels like they should grind through those 2 models or those 2 units pretty quickly. But yeah, I mean, maybe he's just being conservative because he feels like he's got the advantage on the ones that left. Is right.
Yeah, true. And then in my turn, I decided to take the counter charge with the Taurosaur into his knights.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a decent.
You did nothing the turn before with the Caymans. Wow. Okay.
I think I did because this was the point about this. The character with the True Thirst in a Barrow Knight unit is so good. I probably killed throughout the whole game. I probably killed this unit twice over, and it just every combat. When it's in combat, every combat it raises guys from the True Thirst. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's so good. I realized he has his own unit chaffed by his zombies here, so I don't charge the zombies. I just put my Taurosaur up behind them. just to slow down the advance of this unit here. You notice the bat unit, I think, is down to 2 wounds on the left here. And if I remember correctly, this cannon did do one more thing. It shot the bat and I think killed the bat also, without misfiring once.
MVP.
And I do set up this Cayman Elder unit to maybe flank charge in a turn afterwards if I'm doing well in this combat here. But what happens, let's see here, in the charge, oh, this is an extra pick, I think. Oh no, this is his turn. In the combat, I think we're missing a picture here, because so the moral of the story is I put that Taurosaur into this combat, but he did set it up so his character is touching the Taurosaur, and he punks the Taurosaur.
Well, that had to have taken a little while. I mean, he's like, what, 4 string 6 attacks?
And I realize at this point I'm down on points, but we're even on secondary. And I realize at this point putting these Cayman Elders into the flank, I think is a lost cause for the Elders because of the character there, and I can't lose that points, and I'm just praying this scheming unit's going to stick for long enough.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
At this point, he does start pushing for that ghoul unit, but I'm already at a point where I can maneuver everything around the impassable.
Has he set you up so that if you charge that risen unit that you'd overrun into the flank of the barrel guard with the Titanopod?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Kind of looks a little bit like that.
I don't think I'd even take that if I had it, to be honest.
5d3 stomps?
He's just gonna turn to face me and just wipe me after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you do a gang load of damage between that and the crumble, I feel like. But yeah, no, fair enough. You know it.
So I can't remember exactly what happens here, but basically, I realize I don't want to fight
the Titanopod picked up a passenger.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you can charge.
Someone else put one of the tree man models you could pick up as an extra model on over here somewhere.
Yeah, the Titanopod with the treeman riding it would be one heck of a model. Anyways, go ahead.
So I don't know if this was the right decision, but at this point in the game, I felt like it's time to evacuate. Because also where he put this barrel guards, this combat down here is out of his arc. So at this point, he can't come into the combat to help.
Yep.
So basically, I start backing up. It's nothing exciting at this point. I end up sticking here against his knights for as long as I could. I think he charges the skink hunters with his raised zombies, and I think I lose that combat. So I lose 2 pieces of chaff, the Thyroscutus herd, and a Taurosaur.
The veteran.
Oh yeah, and the bow unit. He lost both of his dogs, both of his bats, and the race.
Yeah. Okay.
Ends up being an 8 for me, and we tie.
Okay.
And we tie on secondary. After him making that long charge with the Barrow Knights, I think this is a good result. I was happy with this result.
I'll be honest, I'm shocked that skink unit held up for the rest of the game.
Really?
It just seems like a lot of attacks. Were you pumping them up with?
I think I was buffing him as much as I could, but I don't remember exactly what I put on him. It
just feels like he's gonna, I guess if he's having to work through the Taurosaur too, it just feels like, he's got like 20 attacks coming out of the unit and the character a turn, pretty decently high quality.
I mean, he is hitting me on 4s because I am parry. Yeah,
that's true. And he's kind of, I don't know where his casters were, but I guess he's kind of like a bit away from them. Yeah, all right, maybe. I feel like that you'd expect the Barrow Knight unit to eventually win that combat, but yeah, didn't have enough time.
Yeah. So I'm pleased with an 8. I think that's a decent result for me. I'm sitting at 27 plus 8, 30, 35 after 3 games, which I'm pleased with.
Yep.
Yeah, so I just want a big thanks to Derek. It wasn't a very eventful, it wasn't a very exciting game, but we both played it pretty conservatively. I feel like I don't know how the game would have gone if he failed this charge, but I feel like I would have been in a much better spot.
Yep.
Who knows if I would have won after that, but we would have found out.
Yep.
But anyway, next battle report will be Vespasian's round 3. Please like and subscribe if you're still watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you, everybody.